The Reconciliation Action Plan is really vitally important to the Reflection Spaces project. In projects like this, it really is the catalyst to these projects. It's essentially the framework. It sets a plan and a timeline. It brings people together and it allocates resources. So without the Reconciliation Action Plan, projects like these just wouldn't get off the ground.
For me as a Noongar man, I know when I'm off country, and I wanted to see when I come onto campus here at Edith Cowan University, more than just flags flying. With Edith Cowan University's Reconciliation Action Plan, we could take this to a whole nother level and go beyond just the flags.
Jason and Barrow and I came together to develop a concept, and I had an idea in my head as to what this project might look like. But when I met with Jason, he actually had some better ideas about how this project might come together.
It's a meeting with Kerry Devine, and I listened to Kerry's ideas and I thought that's a wonderful idea. However, I thought it was quite limiting and a bit smaller, as I wanted to have a more holistic approach across the whole campus. So I asked the question around, is that it? Is that as good as we're going to get? Or might there be something else that we could do? The idea of one reflection space then grew into multiple reflection spaces across each of our campuses, so Joondalup, Mount Lawley and our southwest campus in Bunbury.
The development of the reflection spaces was in itself almost a microcosm of the reconciliation process itself. It was about picking the best of his ideas, the best of my ideas, and together I think we developed a really good concept.
After our initial campus walk around, we identified some potential sites across the campus that we could utilise for cultural reflective spaces. We engaged a landscape architect. When Plan E first came on board and they'd listened to our sites and ideas, they came back with some first interpretations or first sketched ideas, and Plan E, to their credit, picked up on all the nuances and then came back with some fantastic concepts and drawings that at every stage of the process were able to change, adjust, adapt, and at all times there's a willingness to listen and find a way in which we can do something, not be held up by the reason why we can't do something. So I wanted a welcome entry statement that when people are ready, they'll be able to gain greater levels of knowledge and understanding as they pass through that. But as people start to become more aware of their physical surrounds, they'll notice the bilingual entry, words that welcome people into space, Noongar and English. So Wandju for welcome and welcome in English. And on each of the three pathways into campus, the exposed concrete aggregate that is woven through there flows through from a southwesterly to northeast direction. And the reason for that compass bearing direction is symbolic of the use of smoke when you welcome or cleanse an area and people into that space and place. For Aboriginal people, the use of smoke helps to cleanse an area and remove any bad spirits that are there and welcome the good spirits to come in with you. And when we have special ceremony, we have lit several of the grass trees up in that area, and true to form, the smoke lifts, that gentle southwesterly wind picks it up and wafts it through that area there, just as the exposed concrete aggregate and the plantings of coastal smoke bush or coastal daisies, that smoky foliage, are there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So an important part of the process is the cultural endorsement through our group of elders that we work with via Kurunko Katajan and facilitated with our elder in residence, Dr. Noel Nana.
The personal satisfaction for someone like myself belonging to the eldership, one of the things that I feel really comfortable with is how our eldership would feel and would be wanting to be involved in a learning institution like Edith Cowan University.
The most memorable part for this project for me was when I was doing a briefing to our elders and sharing some ideas and some concepts to get their take on it and afford them opportunity to meaningful input into that. And some of the elders were overcome with emotion to the point where they needed to take a seat and just almost pinch themselves because they didn't really think that this was really happening in their lifetime. That show of emotion on their face, that's tough.
The best projects come together when people are willing to listen to the ideas of others, and the respect that people showed each other throughout this entire project I think has just been really tremendous, and it shows in the outcome of the project.
I think that amazing things can happen when people come together to learn. With each new project as it comes online, there's more learning, and just as our old people have done for tens of thousands of years, you then have a responsibility, and that is to pass that on to the next generations behind you.
The cultural reflection spaces, I think it's really a tremendous example of vision, and it's really a tangible example of ECU's commitment to reconciliation. I think this project is one of those ones that will have multi-generational appeal. I think it's something that will add value to the ECU brand for generations to come.